What is high ideology, you ask? Ideology is a body of values. We value certain ideas. These certain ideas are our values. Ideas are thoughts, beliefs, and expectations about the totality. A totality exists. For that reason, we are part of the totality. Ideas are thoughts, beliefs, and expectations about the totality. We value certain ideas, and these certain ideas are our values. So high ideology is a body of values. The body of values enables me. I have the highest esteem of self, the highest esteem of the world, the highest esteem of the future, and the highest esteem of the totality. I believe in the value of the most optimistic myths. And what this show is about is I'm showing you how to practice high ideology. So the practice of high ideology enables me. I have the highest esteem of self, the highest esteem of the world, the highest esteem of the future, and the highest esteem of the totality. And I have news for you, my fellow Americans. America has been taken over by a satanic cult. A satanic cult. That's right. And this satanic cult practices Satanism. And what is Satanism? Well, very simply, Satanism is the practice of a belief in the value of a pessimistic myth. Pessimistic myth is an evil entity rules over the earth. Let us suppose a person believes in the value of this pessimistic myth. In that event, the person is a Satanist. And this satanic cult has taken over our country. I call it a megafauna death cult. Because through its racist, fascist, warmongering behaviors, it is threatening to lead humanity down a path of population overshoot, pollution, depletion of natural resources, thinning of the topsoil, longer and more severe hurricane and fire seasons, abrupt climate change, desertification and deforestation, habitat loss, and wars. You see, this satanic cult promotes a low esteem of self, a low esteem of the world, and a low esteem of the future. As a matter of fact, a low esteem of the totality as well. The satanic cult promotes the idea that we are sinners. Contrast that with me. I promote the idea we are winners. Winners. But they think of themselves as, and us as sinners. So that's a low esteem of self. I think of us as soul children of Mother God and Father Love. That's the highest esteem of self. The Satanists think of future as these are the end times. A final, necessary, horrible war will be fought soon. And after this final, necessary war will be fought, then the few paranoid, oppressive, violent people who rule over domestic territories will have final victory over the outsiders. The good entity who rules in heaven will have final victory over the evil entity. This is what they believe about the world and about the future. The world is ruled over by an evil entity. Outsiders rule over foreign territories. A few paranoid, oppressive, violent people rule over domestic territories. A good entity rules in heaven. The few paranoid, oppressive, violent people are at war with the outsiders. The good entity is at war with an evil entity. You see, everything is a reflection, right? Everything in their set of pessimistic myths is a reflection of truths about our set of living arrangements, or certain truths about our set of living arrangements. These truths were true when the myths were made. The truths were true when the words were written down in a set of sacred scrolls. So these truths are about the material plane. Do you understand that? They're about the material plane. And they've been projected into their mythology as pessimistic myths about the spiritual realm. And these pessimistic myths suggest they're truths. So really, they're about the material plane more than they are about the spiritual realm. And the spiritual realm, according to my belief and the value of the most optimistic myths, these satanic religions they're pessimistic myths, have no significance beyond their entertainment value. And they are entertaining. Grateful they exist. That's right. Gratitude is the right attitude. We got something to talk about. Thank you. But why is it possible for them to exist? Why are they dominant in a way? Well, for one thing, the few paranoid, oppressive, violent people find them useful. And how did the few paranoid, oppressive, violent people get to be the few paranoid, oppressive, violent people? Once upon a time, a few people concentrated wealth, income, and power into their own hands. The few people ruled over territories. Success attracted competition. The concentration of wealth, income, and power into the hands of the few people made the competition to rule homicidal, genocidal, and suicidal at times. For that reason, the few people became a few paranoid, oppressive, violent people. The few paranoid, oppressive, violent people have special needs and aspirations. The special needs and aspirations of the few paranoid, oppressive, violent people are achieve and maintain authority, power, order, and control. The few paranoid, oppressive, violent people gained influence over religious authority figures. And religious authority figures proclaim to communities of faithful believers that the few paranoid, oppressive, violent people are representatives of the good entity. The good entity rules in heaven. The good entity is at war with an evil entity. The evil entity rules over the earth. A system of divine eternal reward and abominable infernal punishment, a system of divine eternal reward and abominable infernal punishment compels the faithful. The faithful observe and obey the will of the good entity. The will of the few paranoid, oppressive, violent people is in fact the will of the good entity. The few paranoid, oppressive, violent people are divinely ordained to rule over domestic territories. This is what the religious authority figures say, over whom the few paranoid, oppressive, violent people have gained influence, tell to their communities of faithful believers. And let's suppose these communities of faithful believers believe all this. The only way we can avoid an afterlife of abominable infernal torment and eternal punishment is by observing and obeying the will of the good entity, exhibiting unquestioning loyalty and unswerving obedience to the will of the few paranoid, oppressive, violent people. and disregarding and disobeying the will of the outsiders. The outsiders rule over foreign territories. The outsiders are representatives of the evil entity. The outsiders are not divinely ordained to rule over foreign territories. So in other words, you see how this is really about the material plane now and not about the spiritual realm at all. But what about the Savior, right? The Savior is also a projection. If anybody in this world is your Savior, it's your spouse, right? It's your spouse is your Savior. Am I right? I'm right. Literally speaking, if we want to talk about the genetic material, your family jewels, passed down from a long line of winners. This is why I call us winners and not sinners. We're winners. Each and every one of us comes from a long, long line of winners. No reason to think in your life that you're not also going to be a winner. Because remember, you came from a long line of winners. You've been generous with your time and energy. Thank you for your generosity. Your generosity is an inspiration. I wish us happiness, good health, and prosperity. I offer you my best regards.